Hi, and welcome to Finding Your Way Through Therapy. I am your host, Steve Bisson. I'm an author and mental health counselor. Are you curious about therapy? Do you feel there is a lot of mystery about therapy? Do you wonder what your therapist is doing and why? The goal of this podcast is to make therapy and psychology accessible to all by using real language and straight-to-the-point discussions. This podcast wants to remind you to take care of your mental health, just like you would your physical health. Therapy should not be intimidating. It should be a great way to better health. I will demystify what happens in counseling, discuss topics related to mental health, and discussions you can have with your therapist. I also want to introduce psychology in everyday life, as I feel most of our lives are enmeshed in psychology. I want to introduce the subtle and not so subtle ways psychology plays a factor in our lives. It will be my own mix of thoughts as well as special guests. So join me on this discovery of therapy and psychology. Hi, and welcome to episode 50, which is the review of season 4. So let's go right at it, because I thought that season 4 was an amazing season for so many different things. We've had a few firsts, we've had a lot of returning guests, and I really enjoyed the whole year in general. And with season 5, which will be my 1-year anniversary coming up, we're going to have a lot of good stuff coming up. So I will say that at the end of this review. So let's start the review with episode 40, which was the first of the season, which dealt with a very difficult subject, which is the war in Ukraine and how it affects vets. And I had J-Ball and Katelyn Dehey working with me on that one. Again, J-Ball and Katelyn both have been on before. They were amazing. And we really discussed some of the issues that will impact the vets, even if they are not there, and how it brings up their past. So I hope you take time to listen to it. Episode 41 was with Rachel Chatham. And Rachel, I think, was someone who we got along so great. Originally, if I remember correctly, from somewhere in Western Mass. And we had a great discussion around therapy and how that goes and how she feels in regards to her own work nowadays, including the trauma work that she's done. And she does a magnificent job. So I hope you take time to listen to that. Conversation on episode 42 was with Bethany Amatucci. Bethany talked about how being an empowered woman and what that means, as well as being a life coach. And we shared a story, which to me will be a story that I will remember for the rest of my life in regards to her sister. I'm not going to spoil it here. I want you to listen to the episode, so go listen to it. But let's just say that we got to know each other before we knew that we both knew her sister. So go listen to it. It'll be worthwhile. Episode 43 was with Pat Rice. And Pat Rice, as usual, was an amazing guest. Probably will be the most popular episode again this season. And we talked about near-death experiences, among other things, and spirituality and how we bring that to our therapy sessions. And I really appreciate the work that we did together. Pat's going to be on again next season because we always have a lot of things to talk about and we somehow never get to it. Episode 44 was a discussion on toxic positivity and how this is a pet peeve of mine and how turning a frown upside down does not solve anything except making you ignore how you truly feel about things. But go listen to that episode to get more information. Episode 45 was with Morgan Beard. Morgan, great coach, trained in art therapy, and she discussed her new album, Ele.Mental. It's an EP. By the time this comes out, you will have heard all the songs. I have heard all the songs myself. They are amazing, and she was such a positive guest in a good way, and she was real, which is not to say that my other guests weren't real, but it just felt so genuine from someone I didn't know, and she was just herself. Episode 46 was with Gina Moffa. Gina is someone I met through Instagram, and we talked about a lot of similarities that we have in regards to our style, our work with trauma, as well as how we empower people and how we meet people where they're at by just being human. So I hope you take time to go listen to that. Episode 47 and 48 was with Jenn Nakhai, and Jenn and I have known each other for a while. She embarrasses me regularly by saying that I am one of her mentors and someone that she feels like was well helpful when she was learning how to do telehealth. We talked about COVID. We talked about inequalities in the community, including with substances and other stuff. She is a strong advocate, and I hope that you listen to episode 47, 48 with Jenn on that subject. Episode 49 is something that I really enjoy, which is dark humor. And why do I enjoy dark humor? Well, go check out the episode. But the bottom line is that dark humor is sometimes a great survival skill. So go listen to that episode. And that was the end of the season. So a little bit of what I wanted in the episodes to come. Obviously, there's still the most downloaded and my favorite episode coming up. But I also wanted to tell you a little bit about season 5. Season 5 will be interesting because I'm meeting about 5 new people that I've never met. I'm having, I think, 4 or 5 returning guests, or I've been on their podcast. So we're going to have a lot of conversations in regards to things that we've done. It's going to be all interviews, which means that you won't need to listen to me talk so much, probably just for the review and the beginning and end. But I hope that you truly enjoyed this new format. I will be emphasizing people's experiences in therapy, either for themselves or as a therapist, and maybe what other people have said about being in therapy and how that impacts them. So I do hope that you love the new season 5. I'm very much looking forward to meeting the new people, seeing old faces that were very helpful. I'll give you a little hint. Obviously, Jay and Katelyn are coming back. I will definitely have Pat back on. I will have another conversation with Kara and Bill, which is going to be really fun. So these are the returning guests. So I hope you enjoy that. And if you really want to help me right now, help me by looking at my podcast on your favorite platform and reviewing me, which would be very beneficial. I want to thank so many people. All my guests, obviously, which have been phenomenal every season, but season 4 was particularly amazing. And I can't tell you how much I really enjoyed doing this podcast. I also want to thank someone who has been instrumental throughout the last year, and she doesn't like me mentioning her name, so I'm just going to say it's Laura. But Laura is truly an amazing editor. She makes me sound really good, and she will be someone that I hope I can continue throughout the years working on my podcast. So thank you for that. Also, this is probably the last podcast I'm going to record on this computer. This computer has done its work, and I'm going to keep pretty much the same instruments that I have. I'm going to keep my mic. I'm going to keep the same camera, the same lighting, but the computer will be changed. So nothing really big, but hopefully we can hear a difference when that occurs. And finally, starting season 5, I'm going to put all of them on YouTube. I think that the first episode I put on YouTube was my interview, 2 interviews really with Jenn, and hopefully you've enjoyed that. And I think it's a format that might be interesting for some folk who may not like the audio and likes to have the visual. So I'm going to do that, and you let me know what you think. So I hope you have a great day. And just a reminder, episode 51 will be the most downloaded episode, which will be Pat Rice as usual. So please listen, and I thank you very much for all your support in the last year. It truly means the world to me. Please like, subscribe, or follow this podcast on your favorite platform. A glowing review is always helpful. And as a reminder, this podcast is for information, educational, and entertainment purposes. If you're struggling with a mental health or substance abuse issue, please reach out to a professional counselor or therapist for consultation.